this for my father, who I've only seen from time to time in my dreams. I do this for you. I do this for my mother, who's finally clean, no longer a fan. I do this for you. I do this for my sister, my wife and my kids, cause they part of the team. I do this for all the naysayers and haters who made me one of the greatest. I know it kills you inside, that's why I do this for you.
I do this for the kids who sit a bit outside the mix, who maybe cope through humor just to fit in for a bit, who never let the world know when depression's setting in. To all of those who know you, that impression don't exist, and it ain't counterfeit, it's just a way to counter it. I'm living things I dreamed about, I still encounter it. It ain't something that a cigarette or alcohol can fix, but all because of it, I flipped it quick, went on to write some hits. This a success, off another breath. This the first step in searching to be nothing less than be the best in what you do to prove their strength in being you. Learn so much in chasing dreams that I never would in school. Depends on where your passion lie, just no passion never lie. Life presents distractions, but your actions have to fortify the things that you believe in. Have to scream it like a battle cry and leave the ones who didn't looking stupid while they're asking why. Couldn't lie, I really do this for the ones I love. Those who treat the music as a vice and lyrics like a drug. Those who need advice on how to lift their spirit high enough to break out of the box they make of lives they know aren't good enough. Just because it's how it is don't mean it's how it has to be. This is what the uninspired testifiers fail to see. Jealousy results from being that which others fail to be, and if it means you're not with me, that honestly sounds fair to me.
I do this for my father, who I've only seen from time to time in my dreams. I do this for you. I do this for my mother, who's finally clean, no longer a fan. I do this for you. I do this for my sister, my wife and my kids, cause they part of the team. I do this for all the naysayers and haters who made me one of the greatest. I know it kills you inside, that's why I do this for you.
Do this for my mother, she'll be working for the summer. Do this for my father, cause these days I often wonder what my life would have been like if I was not adopted. To grow up in a home where I was treated like a problem. I don't know, it's just a guess. Your guess probably good as mine. Lucky that I grew up in a home that wanted me to shine. Lucky that I grew up around some mountains we were taught to climb. Without that inspiration, I don't think that this would be my life. Do this for my friends who've scattered all across the country now. I'm out in Sweden walking back through life so I can write it down. Make a living off the sound, so crazy to say out loud. I'm the biggest thing since Travis Rice to come up out the town. Sorry, gotta stunt a little. Used to have my dreams belittled, but it's all a part of it. I know people's minds are fickle, lines between reality and dreams I blur like faded nights. Come up been so good for me, I wish that I could make it twice.
I do this for my father, who I've only seen from time to time in my dreams. I do this for you. I do this for my mother, who's finally clean, no longer a fan. I do this for you. I do this for my sister, my wife and my kids, cause they part of the team. I do this for all the naysayers and haters who made me one of the greatest. I know it kills you inside, that's why I do this for you.
Shout out to my pops, man. I do this for you. What up? Hey, it's Sunday, y'all. I know. The Cowboys are playing the 49ers today. People are watching NFL games. I don't care. I'm sitting there getting ready for the next week for the MVPs, putting in work. But before we do that, and that's just proof I was working on it. Look at these matchups for this upcoming week. Stanford, Colorado. I was in here doing research in the lab. That's next week's schedule. Before we do that, I always do a show to talk about yesterday's results. The way I want to do this, I guess I can just go down the line like this and start hitting it. I want to encourage all of you guys, if you're in the chat, show up, say what's up, drop a question. I will get to the chat. Always will. Please drop a like. You guys are here. Go ahead, leave the chat real quick. Tap your screen. Go give it a thumbs up. We need likes up in this joint so people can get here. The people on TikTok, I don't see your comments. I don't interact with you. Go up here, hit the link, join us on YouTube, get your question in, and I'll answer it. Make you famous. Shout out to David in Arizona. Made him famous today. Put him in a video. All right, so let's go. Thank you guys for being here. So, first thing I want to address, yesterday, college football was exciting, riveting for every fan in America, not for gamblers. There were so many upsets and so many unforeseen circumstances, it hurts our soul. And I'm telling you right now, the bad beats, unreal. The weather, the coaching decisions, everything about it hurts my soul. But at the end of the day, what a great weekend of football. What a great weekend. A lot of people's dreams came crashing down while others came wholeheartedly alive. Shout out to Gavin Minshew. Get an opportunity of a lifetime. That starting quarterback of his went down, and now he's in the show. I love it, man. I love it. You guys get mad at me. I'm celebrating injuries. No, I'm not. I'm celebrating opportunities for people coming off the bench. I really am. I get so excited when I see a second string, third string, practice squad player finally get their shot. There's no different in college. A lot of kids out there got their opportunity. A lot of great stars. You guys don't know this. You guys don't realize this. But Tony Romo, Drew Brees, Tom Brady, Steve Young, all of these guys' careers were able to happen because of an injury. That's the reality of the situation. An injury had to occur for these guys to get into the starting lineup. And then they never lost their chance. They never lost it again. And that's the same thing that's happening week in, week out. I love it. Be mad at me. I love the chaos. And I love the fact that I know the name of the backup. Because that's me. Rico knows. So check this out. We're going to go over the results. We saw it. Sam Houston. My bad. Let's go back here. Jacksonville State, Middle Tennessee State. This was an embarrassing game. Middle Tennessee State's got no offense. I don't want to hear about this score. They can stop the run, but somehow Jacksonville State put up 45 on them. It's embarrassing, bro. Get off my TV. New Mexico State dominating FIU. We saw that coming. Sam Houston, hard to score on, but there goes Liberty, right? Hard to score on, kind of like one of them church girls in high school. Anyways, La Tech and Western Kentucky. I told you Western Kentucky's blowing them out. It happened. They won. They covered the spread. Good enough for me. Go to Friday. Things start going wrong. OK State shows up with Ollie Gordon. They do their damn thing, and they're able to run the rock. They looked amazing. K-State looked anemic. They looked like they were sleepwalking, unmotivated. Dare I say a trap game. That's what it looked like. It was gross. Nebraska, Illinois, I overestimated Nebraska's ability to pass at home. I knew they wouldn't be able to run. They did nothing. And Nebraska actually, I'm sorry, I meant Illinois at home. Nebraska couldn't do anything. Trash. Then we got Kentucky, Georgia. All these Kentucky fans telling me, this is our year. We're going to beat them. We're going to beat them. Who you beating, bro? You're not any good. You're not any good. You're not beating anybody. You look worse than UAB. It looked like a score that Georgia would do against a team like Eastern Kentucky. Not Kentucky, but Eastern Kentucky. That score, 51-13, that would be a score for Eastern Kentucky. And the reason I bring that up is I want you to look at Kentucky and the games they played in the preseason. Look at this. In the season. They went toe-to-toe with Eastern Kentucky. They barely beat them. I promise you they were losing in this game. I remember it vividly. That's the caliber of team Kentucky is. Don't get impressed. These wins are nothing. These are terrible wins. These aren't even impressive wins. So how did you get ranked beating Ball State, Eastern Kentucky, Akron, Vandy, and then Florida? You let Vandy put up 28 on you. This whole thing is gross. And then you show up and get blanked. Watch Missouri hit these dudes in the face. I'm so excited. Watch Missouri do that damn thing. They're going to lose to Tennessee. They're going to beat Mississippi State. Lose. 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 On the road to end it. Lose, lose, lose. I got this Kentucky team winning 2 more games. And at the end of the season, I got to hear about how they're ranked. I got to hear about how they were ranked when they played Georgia. This team will not be ranked at the end of the year, but I got to hear about they were ranked the 1 week they played Georgia. So now Georgia beat a ranked team. It's gross, guys. The propaganda's insane. Kentucky is gross. You guys say I'm lagging. Audio's cutting out. What can I do? Impossible. I don't understand. I'm doing nothing different. This is my normal setup, guys. I apologize if I'm lagging out. It's fine. You'll have to rewind this and play it back. I don't know what to do. Apologies. Michigan, Minnesota. Give me a second here. Audio cutting in and out. Give me a sec. Mic check 1 2 1 2. That's all I can do for y'all. Oh, they might need to leave and come back. I apologize. Nonetheless, then we got Minnesota and Michigan. Michigan looked dominant from the word go. I think it was a pick 6 on the second play of the game. And for me, Michigan beating Minnesota, nothing new here. Minnesota's looked terrible all year. PJ Fleck, man, you put together a project or a product that I'm not impressed with at all. They don't even have a fighting chance in these games. They don't even look competitive. Now, your one win against Nebraska might be your signature win. Get a load of that. But Michigan looked dominant. 50 points on a conference foe. Michigan looks dominant. Minnesota's gross. And then the showdown. Everybody's telling me this is the game of the day. It wasn't the game of the day for me. USC Arizona was the greatest game I've seen in a while. These other games don't really compare. But I hear you. Oklahoma beats Texas. I'm excited. I love Oklahoma. I wanted them to win this game. I told you guys I wanted them to win it. If you were in the live stream with me, I kept saying they're who I want to win. I think Oklahoma can win the SEC next year. I love Jackson Arnold as a quarterback. He'll be in there in a little bit. But DG, Dylan Gabriel, hey, somebody shoot up a flare. Shoot a flare and let's get some rescue. Let's get some support and find Jonathan Villalon. Jonathan Villalon, Texas homer. This guy is missing in action, bro. MIA. You know that black flag for POWs and MIAs? It's for Jonathan Villalon, bro. That dude is missing. Texas diehard fans, horns up. Where are you? Where are you? You guys went out there. Quinn Ewers, 346 empty yards passing. Couldn't get it done, bro. Shout out to Oklahoma for always having an answer. Shout out to you guys. I'm going to do 10 games and then get to the chat. Maryland, Ohio State. Maryland almost covered this spread, man. They were competitive for a while, and then they fell apart in the second half. You saw it. And, guys, that's what happens. When you have to play depth, when you have to play your depth and your backups got to come in, Ohio State's backups are better than yours, right? Remember, we in college, linebackers, DBs, wide receivers, defensive linemen, running backs, tight end, everybody rotates. You got to play your two deep. And after a while, your lesser talented players start getting worn out. And towards the end there, Marvin Harrison Jr., I remember he caught a touchdown. They called it back for holding or something. And then the very next play, he caught another touchdown. It was like they just couldn't cover him anymore after being so competitive early on. And Maryland had a lot of blown offensive series where they should have got some points out of it. It was very frustrating. Very frustrating. And it's unfortunate because they didn't cover the spread. And that's a miss on us. That's one of my misses right there. We hit on everything else to this point of what I'm talking about. That's one of my misses. Virginia Tech, Florida State. Florida State did not cover the spread, just so you guys are aware if you're doing the math. And but Trey Benson goes out for 200 yards. Nothing new here. Trey Benson goes off for 200 yards. Shout out to Bishal Tutton. He ran back a kickoff. Yeah, Bishal Tutton. He's doing his thing. Shout out to the North Carolina A&T transfer from the FCS. But Trey Benson, 200 yards. You can't let that happen. Virginia Tech kind of outgunned. After beating the brakes off of Pitt last week, you go in there, and this is what we expected, so it's okay. USC Arizona, game of the day. Game of the day, Noah Fafita, 303 yards passing in his second start. He's so amazing. He's a dual threat guy, man. He can run. He's crafty. He's little. But that's 5 touchdowns on the biggest stage. On the biggest stage against, Goliath. And almost took it to him. Now they're in overtime, third overtime. And instead of throwing the ball, they do a pitch. They do a sweep. I don't know what they're doing. Keep the ball in Fafita's hands. I was talking to Lightwork about this today, one of my other content creators. I'm like, bro, man, this guy's got 5 touchdowns. Let him do something. Let him create the play. Do play action and then let him roll out and extend the play. He's got tall-ass receivers. Shout out to T-Mac. Do something. Burnett on the bench. Do something, bro. Sucks. Oh, well. And USC, man, push to the brink. Get out of there unscathed. Speaking of unscathed, shout out to Louisville. Louisville. I missed on this. Oh, by the way, I hit on USC. I said they wouldn't hit their team. They wouldn't hit their team total 46. triple overtime. They still didn't get to that 46. Shout out to me. More importantly, though, I also said they wouldn't cover the spread. Shout out to me again. Now, Louisville. I picked Notre Dame to win this game. I said Notre Dame is going to be more efficient. They're not going to blow series the way Jack Plummer does. Jack Plummer, he still blew those series, guys. He still had 4 series with 4 field goals. 4 field goals. They scored 12 points off field goals. That's how they won this game. I promise you, that's how they won this game. It was 4 field goals and 5 turnovers for Notre Dame. You can't win a game with 5 turnovers. Not against an undefeated team like Louisville. And Louisville was able to run the rock. Look at that. That doesn't say Audric Estime. That says Jahar Jordan. What a great running back. I've been talking about him all year, how fast he is, his almost 8 yards of carry, all this stuff. Went out there and dominated. Jamari Thrash, these guys showed up. And Sam Hartman on the biggest stage was this big. Reminds me of Bijan Robinson last year. On all the biggest games, Bijan Robinson was like this. Okay? And this is what you guys look like in the shower, bro. Okay? This is right here. All you F-150 drivers, all you Dodge Rams and Silverados, that's what you're rocking, bro. You and Sam Hartman. Sam Hartman looking 30, still in college. It's unreal. All right, I'm going to go to the chat. Thank you guys for being here. Shout out to everybody who's watching. Boss Omar says, good day, sir. Would you like to reevaluate Mata? Colorado got to get better, and the O-line got to play mad. Offense coordinator still sucks. Shout out to Boss Omar. Have a great show and outstanding week. Thank you. So he's talking about Alejandro Mata, the kicker for Colorado. No, I don't want to reevaluate him. He made 2 key field goals towards the end of the game, and one to send it to overtime, one to win it or whatever, or send it to overtime. Here's what I want to say. Win the game. Where's Colorado? I haven't even got to it yet. Look at this thing. To win the game, I said send it to overtime. I'm talking about Arizona USC. To win the game, Mata makes the kicks. But guys, look at these kicks. 42 and 43. His career long is 42. Now 43. Did you see how much the ball cleared the post by? He cannot make 50-yard field goals. Nobody said anything about him being inaccurate. He's a great, accurate, short kicker. His limit is 45 yards. Limit, 45 yards. And then they got Feely after 45. And Feely can reach it. We just don't know where the hell it's going. Completely inaccurate. So that's how it is. I don't need to reevaluate him. Hey, Rico, what up, David in Arizona? Thank you for your content. In the spring game, I saw Noah Fafita game decision-making jumping up to a starting caliber quarterback. Arizona has a bright future. David in Arizona, I told you 2 weeks ago I didn't think he's good enough to dominate the Pac-12. I always thought he was a feel-good story. I always liked him because I liked his tape. But I didn't think he was good enough to dominate the Pac-12. I was wrong. He's a gamer. And he's got the right moxie to do it, bro. He can play some football. I think Arizona has a quarterback controversy. I think there are fans that are going to want to see Noah play. I don't care when the assaulter gets back. I don't care when DeLar gets back. I don't care. People want to see Noah Fafita in there. He's just a likable dude, bro. And the reason he's so likable, he's as tall as the average person sitting at home. I'm taller than him, just so you know. I had somebody send me a DM, go, Rico, I met Noah. He's a solid 5'7", bro. I said, yeah, but in cleats, he's 5'9". Cleats in a helmet, he's 5'9". Cleats in a helmet, he's 5'9". Trust me, I know. I know them dudes walking around little as hell, put on some cleats and a helmet, almost look as tall as me. I'm like, what is this? And for those of you guys asking, Rico, stand up so we can see how tall you are. I get these trolls all the time. Bro, I'm 6 foot. Ask somebody. I'm 6 foot. Might be 6'1". Do you think Bob Stoops, son, Drake Stoops, Bob Stoops' son, Drake Stoops, yeah. Can he make it to the NFL? Well, the baby the dog. He's going to make it to the NFL because once you declare, you get there. Now, can he make it in the NFL and be successful? I don't know. Is he any better than Kurt Warner's son? Because they're all fringe NFL guys. I don't see Stoops as an NFL wide receiver. I have not assessed all his tape. with the intent of identifying him as an NFL prospect. I do that in the offseason. But as I'm sitting here right now, he's not on my list. Now, I'm an advocate for small school guys. I'm an advocate for the little guy, the underdog, and I could probably classify him that way. But I can also tell you, would he ever be at Oklahoma if his last name wasn't Stoops? Like, is he good enough if you saw him while you were recruiting him in high school and you said, that's a Sooner, that's an Oklahoma Sooner, I want that guy on my team? Say they're recruiting right now. Who are they offering wide receivers wise? Because I've seen the players from Oklahoma that have been given preferred walk-ons, and I'm telling you, they're a different caliber of player. They got the hookup. Okay? I don't think Stoops is that level, and he got the hookup. That's all I'm saying. Would they recruit him? So, does he even belong in the Power 5? Does he belong at Oklahoma? Sure. Does he belong in the Power 5? Sure. If you say so. I don't like nepotism. It's rampant in coaching. I don't like it in players. Shouldn't happen that way. Rico, I see dead bodies. Noah Fafita. The haters just need to watch your shows. Thank you, David in Arizona. You know, man, there's guys out there who don't watch the show. They don't watch me every day. They don't know what we know. I feel like my fans who come to this show, you guys, the regulars I see every day, I feel like you guys are some of the most educated football fans in the world. You got to be. You're in here with me every single day. You have no choice but to learn from me. Whether you retain it all, that's on you. But I think everybody in my chat, every one of you guys, all 55, all 100 of you, I swear, you guys are smarter than all the other fans out there because you get to sit here and chop it up with me. I already know I'm better than everybody. I'm not sweating that at all. I'm glad you guys show up. Brian Yu says rebound week. That's what's up, man. Rebound. Let's go. Some amazing games. Coach's poll has Bama over Texas. Insane. I already made a video on it, J.K. Brown. I made a video on it. That is the worst thing you could ever imagine. That right there is what's wrong with the coach's poll. They have the nerve to put Bama ahead of Texas. 9-10. Texas beat them heads up 2 weeks ago, bro. Are you fucking kidding me? It's gross. The bias, the SEC bias is insane. And that impacts strength of schedule. That impacts public perception. That impacts recruiting. That's bullshit. Everybody smash that like button. Thank you. Ricky, he doesn't do anything like that. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what Ricky Bobby said, but it's gone, bro. Let's go full throttle. What up, Willie Bobo? Okay, I'm going to go back to the games. Going back to the games. I'll get back over here. Got to do 10 of these. We got to get through them. There wasn't too many games. We'll get through it. And then we'll go to the chat hard. Pause. What was the last game I talked about? Alabama A&M. That's where we're at. Alabama A&M. Shout out to Jalen Milroe. He went ham, threw a bunch of passes, found Burton all day long. Burton kept him in the game, and they won this thing 26-20. It's impressive. Just keep winning, they say. I didn't see A&M winning the game, but they were very competitive in this thing. Shout out to Isaiah Bond for scoring a touchdown. I like the kid. He's a local kid. Buford, Georgia. Shout out to him. Washington State and UCLA. People don't understand how good UCLA is. I had them in my top 25 for a reason. I turned on the tape and watched them. I turned on the tape and watched UCLA and said, whoa, there are not 24 better teams than UCLA. Kept them in my top 25 every single week, no matter what. And now magically they're in the top 25. Now everybody's going, oh, man, they got to be good. Yeah, no shit, buddy. They went out there and smacked Washington State in the mouth. But I want you guys to understand something. If there was still North and South in the Pac-12. In the North, you would have Washington State. In the South, you would have UCLA. In regular season play, they wouldn't play each other. North versus South, only a few matchups are North versus South. If there was 8 conference games, they really wouldn't play each other. In the SEC, you don't play East versus West. Very rarely. Only about 5 of them. Three of them. You play three of the other teams, and they make sure it's not somebody that can beat you. Georgia has played A&M once in the regular season. Once! Georgia and A&M have played each other once since 2014. They've played Bama. Georgia and Bama have played in the regular season 3 times in the last 14 years or something like that. They play in the SEC championship game. They'll play in the playoffs, but they won't play each other in the regular season. They don't play everybody in those conferences. In the Pac-12, you got to play 9 conference games. And this is what happens when you pair up with a North and a South team. This is that 9th conference game that everybody says doesn't matter. You take a team that has the potential to be a top 10 team and threaten to make the playoffs if they run the table. And they got to play that 9th conference game against an unranked UCLA team, and they lose. That's what happens. It happened to LSU, almost losing to inferior competition within the conference. Back-to-back weeks, right? It can happen to Bama with Arkansas. It can happen to any matchup you want. You play a 9th game, you can lose. And Washington State found out. 9th conference game will get you every time. North Carolina, Syracuse, I told you guys, Syracuse sucked. Listen, you're not all MVPs. When I had my MVP thing, I was sitting here and I said, yo, guys. I said, hey, guys, MVPs, Syracuse sucks. I don't believe in Syracuse. North Carolina's going to blow them out. And then I was watching a live stream. I'm doing my stream with everybody for free. And before the game, I tell everybody, hey, guys, you might want to bet on North Carolina. They're going to blow these dudes out and cover that spread. Gave it out for free, bro. It's that easy. Shout out to Drake May. He's playing out of his mind. Hooked up with Nate McCollum like I said he would. They said, Rico, what about Tez Walker? Tez Walker's back. Are you excited for him? I said, yeah, man, I'm excited. He's going to free up some coverage, and Nate McCollum's going to go ham. And you can see it over there, 135 yards, Nate McCollum. That's exactly what I said. People, what's Tez Walker going to do? No. Tez Walker ain't doing shit. Dontavius Walker. No. Nate McCollum's the truth. That's a Georgia Tech transfer I believe in. Oregon State Cal. This is another one of those, that's your 9th conference game. Oregon State and Cal. Now, they're both from the north, but still. Look at the score, bro. Cal is not to be played with. Cal is not an easy out. They put up 40 points on that defense because Cal can score. With a 3rd-string quarterback, they can score. So it's just one of those things. I want to interrupt the show real quick to give a shout-out. Sal Scriv just became an MVP. Congratulations, bro. Welcome to the team. You get this week's picks. I'm working on them. I'm probably going to get them out tonight or early tomorrow morning. You guys will see. It's a holiday tomorrow, but I'm working. I work every day, 7 days a week. Shout out to Cal for putting up some points in the loss, and shout out to Oregon State getting it done. You guys don't know this Anthony Gould over here, one of the best punt returners in the country. If you want to know a guy that you shouldn't be kicking it to, Anthony Gould is the problem. David Martinez will run you over. There's Ole Miss beating Arkansas 27-20. Now, Arkansas's been playing terrible, but this game they didn't play terrible. They actually came to play. They looked good. Good enough, but it wasn't good enough to beat Ole Miss. Shout out to Ulysses Bennett IV. You guys might not know who he is. I know exactly who he is. I talked about him this offseason when I did my top running back rooms in America. I put Ole Miss with the number 1 running back room in America, and a lot of it had to do, obviously, with their starter, right? But I said, oh, wait, do you guys know who the backup running back is at Ole Miss? Because this guy was 3rd string last year. Ulysses Bennett IV. And everybody's like, who the hell's that? Well, 2 years ago, he was a 900-yard rusher at SMU. 900-yard rusher at SMU. He transfers into Ole Miss, and it just so happens he had to sit the bench to some other guys last year. But this is a quality running back, and he got the brunt of the carries. They went with the hot hand, and Judkins didn't get most of the carries. They gave it to Bennett, and Bennett's a quality running back. Trust. Just letting you know. Miami, Georgia Tech. Miami was winning this game. All they had to do was victory formation and take a knee, and they were calling run plays. You guys, it's not the first time this has happened. This happened with, I want to say, the Eagles back in like the 60s or 70s. They were running the ball to run out the clock, and somebody fumbled. Had to be the Eagles or the Jets. The Eagles had to be. Eagles or Jets. It was a green team. But my goodness. Crystal Ball, you're dead to me, bro. Crystal Ball should be fired. This is unheard of. His clock management, his decision-making is insane. If I'm the player, I'm not even running with the ball. Why am I fighting for extra yards? The game's over, and the running back is fighting for extra yards. Just take a knee, bro. Just dive to the floor. No contact needed. Quarterback, you hear the play in the huddle. You go, no, we're not doing that shit. Victory formation. Taking a knee. What happened, coach? Hey, coach says, what are you doing out there? Dude, I slipped. Game's over. We won. Not going to let you lose the game. Okay, so now you fumble and Georgia Tech gets it. Don't let anybody get behind you. It's the only rule, bro. Don't let anybody get behind you. Oh, by the way, Miami, your secondary is the best secondary in America. I told you guys this every week. Miami's secondary is the best in America. Georgia Tech's only way of scoring would be passing. I said Miami's not losing this game because Georgia Tech can only throw the ball and you can't throw against Miami. And they beat you deep. Christian Leary, Alabama transfer, does it. It's gross, bro. I told all the MVPs on Saturday morning's live stream, Missouri and LSU are going to hit the over. Take both quarterbacks passing touchdowns over. We hit on all of it. Brady Cook is the truth, and they still lost. I still like Brady Cook, still like Luther Burden III, but they lost. LSU's defense is one of the worst defenses in America, man. I'm trying to figure it out. I'm going to watch more tape on it on Thursday. You know, I do SEC Thursdays. I go back and rewatch all the games. And when I go to rewatch LSU, I got to tell you guys, I'm prepared to see some really bad football. I'm prepared to see a team that just thinks they're going to outscore you all the way to the end. It's just terrible. Speaking of terrible, Fresno State on the road at Wyoming, same thing that happened at Texas Tech. You're not beating the Wyoming Cowboys on the road. You're just not doing it. Shout out to Mikey Keene. I thought they were going to do it. It didn't happen. Look at Harrison Whaley. Only 83 yards, doesn't matter. Harrison Whaley, Northern Illinois transfer. Stud of a running back. Looks so good on tape. Transferred into Wyoming. Didn't play the first two games. And now he is the starting running back. And it dominating. Moving the chains. Keeping Fresno State off the field. Boston College Army. Thomas Castellanos. They doesn't say it right here, but he scored every single touchdown. 4 touchdowns on the ground for your quarterback. Boston College has nobody else. They still beat Army. Congratulations. Boston College beats Army. 4 rushing touchdowns from your quarterback. And I'm glad they could lace it up and figure out how to stop that offense attack from Army. Western Michigan covered the spread against Mississippi State like I said they would. Shout out to Hayden Wolf. You see that quarterback right there, 262 yards from Western Michigan. That is the quarterback transferred from ODU to Western Michigan. Western Michigan's team is empty, bro. Empty. And Mississippi State, Will Rogers is not the guy anymore. Will Rogers went off the field like this with no shoulder and no arm. And the Vandy transfer, Mike Wright, had to come in and finish it. That's pretty interesting. We'll see what happens with them. But Mississippi State's one of the worst teams in the SEC. I'm surprised they're not going to end up ranked one week. Let me get back to the chat. I think I did 10 games. Let's go over here. I Rico, think I lost it all yesterday, man. Dev's so cool. This is why we're supposed to gamble in units. If you gamble in units, you couldn't have lost all your money yesterday. You didn't make 100 bets. Take your bankroll, divide it by 100. If you got a bankroll of $600, you say, I can gamble $600. Divide that by 100, and you can use $6 on each bet. That's what you should be gambling. $6. You're like, but I want to win. I want to win $1,300. I want to win $900. No, you don't. $6 a game. And if you start to manage your betting that way, in volume, you make $3 here, you make $3 there. You keep going, you make $5 here, you make a $4 payout here, and you just keep building that bankroll. And that 6 will turn into 7. And when you get to 700, you could increase your bets to $7. Every $100 in your bankroll, you go up $1. So when you finally get $1,000 in winning, you can now do $10 bets. If you got a bankroll at $5,000, you can do $50 bets. That's how you manage your money. So if you lost, let's say you made, we had 6 misses in a row. The worst you could have lost was 6% of your bankroll, theoretically. Unless you're throwing multiple units on games, unless you're not even gambling with units. If you're just gambling like, yo, I put $400 on this game. I put $300 on this game. Yeah, all those guys bust out and they're gone forever. And they don't ever get to gamble again. Once you rock bottom, once you're out, you're tapped out, you're out. That's it. You ever been to the casino and you put your money in the slot machine? Those casinos were not built. They weren't built on donations, bro. They're built off those damn slot machines. You put all that money in, you're not going to win. Right? But what if I told you you had a bankroll and you only put in 1% of your money in that machine on any given time? You could literally sit there 100 times. You guys telling me you're tapped out. There's no way you're gambling properly. There's just no way. 1 unit is 1% of your bankroll. Gamble with a bankroll. Be responsible. Stop trying to win your rent money because you're going to lose your rent money. Everyone had a rough. It happens. Yes, it does, BP the Great. Rico's, when's the show starting? You're bringing the heat today. Yes. Did Rico's picks go bad yesterday? I don't know if it was necessarily bad. What does it say? Dropped a big like, Rico Knows. Thank you very much. Picks yesterday were at 37.5%. Not very good. 37.5%. I already cleared out the chart from the colors. These were all the picks yesterday. But prop bets, we hit about 22 hits. So, let me give you that example right there. We had 17 misses. If you bet every single lock, you should have lost 17 units. 110, so you'd be -7 on your units for the week. You'd be -7. So let's say you bet $20 a game. If you put $20 on everything, on the whole board, you'd be down $140. If you bet $20 on the whole board. But during the MVP brief that I give during the live stream, I gave 22 accurate prop bets. 22. You could have been up 22 units. You put a unit on every prop bet, you would have been up 22 units. And I missed on 5 of the prop bets. 5. So you'd be up 17 prop bets. You'd be up 17 instead of down 7. You'd be up 10. You would have been up $200 on a weekend if you do it right. I can't teach you guys how to do it. You got to do it on your own. I can't be there with you. You got to do it yourself. I get it. I'm mathematically inclined. I know what's going on. But I'm just telling you guys how to approach it. Go Dogs. Why does Shedeur Sanders keep flexing his bust-down Cartier after beating shit teams and running out of bounds? Ricky Bobby, I don't even know what that's about. I don't know how this works. I don't know what this does. He keeps showing a wristwatch. Like it's expensive or something. I got my cell phone. My cell phone tells me the time, bro. It's fucking great. You know, when I was a kid, we used to have to call the time. You used to call the time. It was a number. You would call the time. And then some lady would tell you what time it is so you can set the clocks properly. I'm telling you, it's a real thing. Nobody knew what time it was unless you called the time. You'd sit there with your watch and have to wind it up. I'm not impressed with an expensive watch, bro. I got money. I don't own a watch, and if I did, it would be a Fossil. That's the company it would be. Fossil. Or maybe a Casio. I'd want the one with the calculator in it. Only finished down 3 units. Not mad about it because I know that next week I'll get those back. Do you guys see this? You see Sultan the SWAT here? I had no idea this was here in the chat. Sultan the SWAT is explaining to you that he gambled all weekend. He's down 3 units. It's a responsible gambler. He knows what he's doing. How do you guys gamble that so bad? Oh, well, Ricky Bobby, trust me, there's worse things to do in this world. Why are you here? Not a great week. Not a great week, Team Kelly. Not at all. For the knowledge, audio is cutting out. Sorry, guys. Can't hear every word of the word. Do you think money changes hands for coaches' poll votes? No, not at all, J.K. Brown. I think it's just buddies voting for buddies. It's a popularity contest, bro. Did the hottest girl in your school win a homecoming queen? What about King? Was it the hottest people? Or was it some woke group just saying, oh, that looks really cute? Some special ed person winning it? Yeah. Hey, let's let them shoot some baskets at the end of the basketball game. Let them score a bucket so we can go viral. Let's give them a free handout. Teach them what life's about. It's fine now for me. You got it, Steph. Guys leave and come back. It's all good. Thank famously it helped. Let's go, baby. Work for me. No problem, Ricky. Your friends don't know, but Rico knows. Rico, I don't see how Ohio State can be ranked this highly in the coaches and AP with as weak as their offensive line is. Penn State defense is going to kick them in the teeth. Mark Freed, I don't get it either. I'm not impressed with anything they're doing. I thought Maryland played with them toe-to-toe. I don't understand it. Not at all. Joseph V. been real quiet for sure. He's missing. He's missing. Rico, why do you think Arkansas is so shitty? Ricky Bobby, somebody's got to lose, man. It's not that they're shitty. Somebody has to lose. When you look at the schedule, everybody thinks they've improved in the offseason. Everybody thinks they're better. But somebody's got to lose. Out of all the matchups, who's losing? I'm telling you, I hear something positive about every team that I talk about. Especially when I did transfer portal rankings, I ranked 133 teams. Every single time I made a video, the fan base from that team swore up and down their team was better than the way I ranked them. Everybody. Except for Colorado, who was number one. Everybody else swore they were better than where I ranked them. Everybody. It was insane. 2 games I've loved watching the most this year. Colorado State, and Arizona, USC. Both kept me up until 2 a.m. Great football yesterday. There it is. Really want Arizona to go for 2 in that first overtime. Just end it, right? Just go for the jugular. To be fair, Arizona was gashing them with those toss plays all game. Just to the other side, yeah. The right side, not the left. Bad week. Chat just jumped on me. Give me a second. I'll get back to you guys. Yeah, Terrell, bad week. Big wins last night. We're parlaying South Alabama, lay points, Texas Tech, lay points, Wyoming, money line, and Arizona take points. I hit on Louisville money line. Jordan, there you go. Look at Salt and the SWAT out here working that magic, bro. Notre Dame offense sucks. They have some talent, just no imagination. They got to dream it up. Arizona is pretty good. What up, Rico? Thanks for getting me out of MVP prison. Shout out to TJ. If you guys don't know, TJ accidentally got blocked by the channel. He was in here. Some collateral damage, friendly fire. Somebody else was saying something. Somebody else got blocked, and TJ accidentally got blocked. He reached out to me through TikTok, though, and we took care of it. Love this community and what we're building together. Let's keep rocking. Shout out to you, TJ. Thank you for the support, man. We're going to be here for years. Still high on USC after last night. Is that a question or you're riding it? Mac 10, I agree with you. Very hot. Does Fafita take over from DeLara? I think so. What was his record this week? I already covered that. Rewind the show. Thoughts on Jaden Daniels? Ricky Bobby, Jaden Daniels played good. I don't know about great, but he played good. I hate when I see Nussmeier in the game. I think he's their best option to win. Jaden Daniels is not the problem. Thanks, Rico. I know. Same with UFC. I don't remember Ethan Brooks. I don't remember. Washington, Oregon, must watch this week. Of course. Of course, must watch. But don't confuse must watch with must bet. Don't confuse the two. Facts, Rico. I used to be an SEC homer. You opened my eyes. Evan Kramer, paying attention. Shout out to Evan Kramer. This man is from Alabama. And I've opened his eyes. That's important. That's important. Took Arizona +9 versus Wazoo. Then saw the video. Then saw your video on Fafita. Feeling better about that pick. There you go, Dominic D. Big D. Hey, wait, pause. Dominic with the big D. All right. Let's take one more and then I'll go back to the chat. Rico, do you believe players who are second or third on the depth chart around the country are really going to jump in the transfer portal for Colorado Buffs? Appreciate the input. Staney Smith, I don't think that that's the case. Number one, I don't think people understand. Colorado's starting 22 are good enough to start better. They're better than other people coming. So when you transfer, you're backing up somebody. What's your reason for transferring? The number one reason for transferring is you want to increase your pro pedigree, improve your chances to make it to the league, or play at the highest level. Those are the number one reasons I've seen. Now, the number two reasons I've seen are you want to be closer to home, you want to go play for a coach you know and trust, or your coach just got fired. The third reason to transfer, I'm not getting enough playing time. People always think that's the number one. It's not the number one reason to transfer. I see all conference guys transferring. I see starting quarterbacks and running backs and wide receivers transferring. Okay? Because they want to get to the NFL and increase their pro pedigree. So, you got to ask yourself, does Colorado increase your chances of going to the NFL? And the answer is no. There are much more established programs like Ohio State, Alabama, Georgia, A&M, Miami, like these other places that will get you to the NFL because the position coaches have done it time and time again. They have a proof of concept. They get the buy-in. This is why Florida State gets so many people or Michigan gets so many people. It's pro pedigree, and it wins out. Shout out to USC. If you're an offensive player, where do you want to go? USC. Go play for Lincoln Riley. He's been doing this for years. Why do you think Georgia Tech started winning the transfer portal? Georgia Tech starts winning the transfer portal. Brent Key, former offensive line coach at Alabama. Chris Winke's their quarterbacks coach. All of a sudden, UCF's getting guys. Why? Ernie Sims is their linebackers coach. So you have to find out who these position coaches are and what their track record is. This is what's getting transfers. So the only thing that's appealing at Colorado is notoriety, is popularity. You're not going to start over some of those guys. They can already play. Now, there's some guys they need. But if you're transferring, you want a chance to start, you're going to go look for wherever you can start. But I said the third one, the third one that's really important, or the second one, or the first, however you want to rank them. The one that really comes to mind is close to home. Texas State dominated the transfer portal because players wanted to come close to home. UMass dominated the transfer portal to get a certain type of player because players wanted to go play for a coach they loved in Don Brown. Charlotte got 30-something transfers because they wanted to play for a coach they loved in Biff Poggi. And you can start at Charlotte. Colorado's got good players. You're not necessarily going to start at Colorado. You can transfer in. You're going to be added depth. You could have been depth at your last school. There's not a lot of local kids transferring back in, right? I think Colorado got Arden Walker. He was a Colorado kid coming back home. And I think his dad played there as well. So that one makes sense. But you're not going to get an absorbent amount of kids that say, oh, I need to go to Colorado. They're just not going to win all those battles. Everybody envisions them winning the battles. They're not going to. Now, they're going to get some good players. They're going to hit on some key players for sure. But don't think for a second that Florida State, USC, Michigan, Nebraska is going to get players. Those other schools are getting players before Colorado, especially in the transfer portal. I study this. I see it all the time. There'll be a list of players. You don't have a chance of getting them. Not a chance. Landon King was leaving Auburn, and everybody, oh, he's going to Colorado. They need a tight end. He's a tight end. Nope. No, he took his ass to Utah because Utah has a known pedigree of getting tight ends drafted. That's how it works. Colorado will do well in the transfer portal. It's not going to be like everybody envisions. SEC bias is ridiculous. Thanks, ESPN. UCLA's defense is legit. Yes, they are. Had Washington State plus 3.5 money line. And money line. There you go. It was rough, right? Once again, welcome to the MVP, Sal Scriv. Brian Yu says, Miami got confused, thought they were playing Madden. Essentially, Cristobal did it versus Stanford in 2019. I know, Evan Kramer. Back to the chat over here. Rutgers covers the spread against Wisconsin. Backdoor cover, but I still thought Rutgers was good, man. Rutgers played well against Wisconsin. Unfortunately, Gavin Wimsatt is exactly who I said he was. Cannot throw to save his life. Very inaccurate, not getting it done, and they couldn't win the game. Their defense played well enough to win that game. They really did. Their offense played terrible. Virginia wins a shootout, not a shootout. Virginia wins a slugfest with William and Mary. William and Mary took the early lead on this. Tony Muskett comes, they're letting Tony Muskett start. Shout out to Malik Washington. That's a transfer from Northwestern, but this isn't impressive at all. Virginia is one of the worst teams in the FBS. They really are. And William & Mary's pretty good. Pretty good FCS school. Pretty good performance for sure. UMass and Toledo. Toledo played bad and still won the game. UMass just can't stop anyone. But shout out to UMass for showing up and giving it a real swing. We hit on this over fast, quickly. DeQuan Finn is missing everything. He's looking like a running back. I think they're going to make him change positions if he tries to make it to the league because he can't throw at all. But damn, he can run. 172 yards rushing. Looks great. Talk about running. Marshall shows up and couldn't run the ball. Not against NC State. NC State's got that stout defense. Rasheen Ali shows up and that offensive line couldn't move him. Marshall no longer undefeated. NC State gets it done. MJ Morris goes out there. 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. He's a slinger. I think they're encouraged by him. I think they like him. He made mistakes, but he brings a lot more to the table than Armstrong. He did not have as many rushing yards as Armstrong. He brought a different skill set. He wasn't out there running the ball. Temple threw the ball all day long. E.J. Warner, 472 yards. Kurt Warner's son, going ham, 472. I got all these messages in my inbox. Rico, does E.J. need a transfer? What if he transfers? Will he be great? Then I'm like, well, bro, I don't know, but my goodness, I hope he's okay. 472 yards, but check out UTSA, still winning the game. Frank Harris has been highly disappointing all season, but they won the game. They put up 49 points. Buffalo appears to have figured it out. They beat the brakes off of Central Michigan. Buffalo wins back-to-back weeks now. Their quarterback's good. Cole Snyder's playing good. They're efficient, and Central Michigan very disappointed in that loss. It's unfortunate for them. They just didn't get it done. Northwestern, struggling with Howard. They had the early lead, and then Howard came back. Shout out to Howard for showing up and making a play out there. But Northwestern wins. Purdue getting smacked in the face. Hudson Card couldn't get it rolling. Oh, how bad was Deacon Hill? How bad were his numbers this game? Deacon Hill's numbers were atrocious. Look at this. 6 for 21. 110 yards. This is the Wisconsin transfer. 6 for 21, 110 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Wow. It's Anthony Richardson-esque. But Hudson Card throws 2 picks. These guys play tough. Johnson can rush. Eric Hall's clutch. And Iowa wins the game. And they have the nerve to start giving Iowa top 25 votes for this win. They're 5-1. They start giving them votes. Get the hell out of here. Oh, Clemson. They got votes. They're still getting votes. Clemson wins. They beat Wake Forest 17-12. What? It was gross. Highly disappointed in Clemson. Convinced they're not going to be any good this year. And Wake Forest is worse. Navy and North Texas. I told you North Texas would cover this spread. They can score. Navy wins the game. That's disappointing for North Texas. But they were in it. They covered the spread. Congratulations. They'll be a problem. North Texas is good to score like 30 points every single game. They're good. Speaking of 30 points, that's Texas State standard right there. Ishmael Mahdi goes for 188. Shout out to him. I posted a video on him today. One of the fastest running backs in America. TJ Finley played out of his mind. Joe Herbert played out of his mind, and they still lost. Because Louisiana goes out there and scores 13 unanswered points in the final 6 minutes and wins this game. Unreal. Shouldn't have happened. But it did. Highly disappointed because Texas State's such a good team. They'll bounce back. It just sucks, man. Wanted them to win. EMU wins the pillow fight of the year in the MAC. Shout out to them. Eastern Michigan running the ball. I don't even understand it. Why Ball State can't block for their great running back in Marquez Cooper. They have an amazing running back at Ball State. Couldn't do anything. Talk about Duke. Couldn't do anything. Bowling Green couldn't do anything. Bowling Green 27-0. Don't even score. Look exactly like I anticipated for them to look last week. Joe Wilkes Jr., I think he's a Notre Dame transfer. But still, gross. Congratulations, Miami of Ohio. They're going to be bowling this year, I'm sure. Told you Kent State's one of the worst teams in America. Ohio doesn't score much. They scored enough. Rourke goes for 300. It was bad. Akron. Talk about bad. Akron. Blown the hell out. And Ontario Brown is doing some crazy numbers, y'all. Ontario Brown is doing some crazy numbers for Northern Illinois. This man right here, 13 carries, 280 yards. You heard that right. 280 yards. And look what he did last week. 152 yards. But who the hell is averaging 21 yards a carry? That's nuts. This is sick. Okay, he's not that good. I watched him struggle against Southern Illinois. I watched him struggle here. I watched him lose to an FCS team and then go back and do 16 yards against Nebraska. But for some reason, he gets in the MAC and he's rushing for some insane number. Look at this. He's almost got more than a season total. That's nuts, guys. This was a third-string running back last year. He was not the starting running back last year. Their starter was Harrison Whaley. He's over at Wyoming right now. My goodness. Ontario Brown doing his thing. Shout out to Georgia. Know him well. Good stuff. Vandy couldn't cover the spread against Florida. They fell apart towards the end. Not impressed with Florida at all. Kansas blowing out UCF. Congratulations. UCF going back to the backup quarterback, Timmy McClain, after John Rice Plumlee didn't look healthy. And Bean was good enough to win the game. UAB looked way better than South Florida. I didn't expect that. UAB looked worlds better than South Florida. UAB, I'm telling you guys something right now. You don't have to watch the tape. But when you watch this, if you ever go back and look for this tape, Jermaine Brown Jr., I've been talking about him all offseason. Don't even say I haven't been. I was so disappointed that he wasn't the starter because they started Isaiah Jacobs over him. Well, this week, Isaiah Jacobs is injured, not in the game. They go, man, we got to go with Jermaine Brown Jr. Now, when you see his last name, this is him right here. The last name, Jordan, they were wearing the last names, or they were wearing the names of children's kids from the children's hospital. So all the jerseys are really weird in this game. Don't get it twisted. That's Jermaine Brown Jr. right there, number 1. 18 carries, 116 yards, 4 touchdowns. Bro, 4 touchdowns? You're telling me this guy shouldn't be starting? 900-yard rusher last year. Did it all. Big plays this whole game. And I'm telling you, UAB, from the word go, 600 total yards. They looked amazing. Shout out to Trent Dilfer. Didn't have to eat his coaches. Didn't have to kill them. And they won this game big. Loved it. And Byron Brown was the leading rusher for the game. Yeah, that's the quarterback for South Florida. Redshirt freshman. Talk about freshmen. Welcome to it, Jalen Rayner. You get against Troy. I told you what was going to happen, guys. I said Troy can shut down a quarterback like this. They shut down Granger last week, the week before. Now they shut down Arkansas State this week after putting up 40 points back-to-back. Kamani Vidal, 245 yards rushing. Insane. Rice let me down big time. Couldn't handle UConn. JT Daniels, you guys couldn't stop UConn? That's gross. UConn gets their first win of the season, and we lose our ass. Tulsa couldn't win. This was a torrential downpour. Tulsa almost made the comeback. It was not happening. It was not meant to be. It was not meant to be. Torrential downpour. Shout out to Larry McCammon. That's a 1,000-yard rusher from last season. LeJontay Wester is always open. He keeps doing it. And Daniel Richardson is the new starting quarterback. If you watch him play, he looks fat and overweight. That's the only way to describe it. Colorado pulls it out. Pause. Hits a game-winning field goal to win the game. Shout out to Mata. And they end up winning. Wasn't pretty. Wasn't pretty. South Alabama was pretty. Told you South Alabama's way better than a lot of people think. It's a team I chose to win 9 games. They better keep doing this shit right here. Carter Bradley's Heisman campaign starts now. It's a joke for the channel if you know who it is. LaDamian Webb, the transfer from Florida State, rushing like crazy for South Alabama, no longer sharing the load. Pause. And Lacey doing his thing. Old Dominion Southern Miss, they both decided not to score this week after being monumental scorers weeks before. They were terrible. Baylor and Texas Tech, I told you Texas Tech's winning this game. Didn't matter that Shapen's back. Texas Tech was just much better than Baylor. And it was on the road. Baylor's crew, they can't be dancing, bro. I saw their students dancing. It was disgusting. TCU, Iowa State. Beck and them boys. Somebody told me Rocco Beck can't play. Da-da-da-da-da. He's been gross. You think they're really going to beat TCU? One of the MVPs said this. And I said, let me pull this up and show you something. If you're an MVP, you were there for it on Saturday. I said, no, look, Rocco Beck can play. Now, bad stats, great performance, getting the win, beating TCU. We'll take it. That's good. At home, defending your home. Talk about ridiculous. Colorado State's in the lead at halftime. Utah State comes out the second half and obliterates them and wins this game. We almost had an upset here. It was going to be great. It was going to be the story of the ages, and it didn't happen. Same thing in the San Jose State game. San Jose State was up at half, 27 points, and they never scored again. And they lose 35-27. They got to be demoralized, this team right here. Genty ends up carrying the load. Pause. And Eric McAllister, straight out of Texas, doing his thing. That's what happened in the week. I'll talk to you guys. I'm doing all Q&A from here on out. Let's close out the show. We got, we just took 2 hours? Oh, no, we got 1 hour. We don't have to go that long, but let's see what's up in the chat. I'll catch up to y'all. Let's go. Miami got confused, thought it was Madden. Cristobal did this before. Was New York Giants versus Philadelphia Eagles 78. Herm Edwards. That's right, bro. That's right. I knew it was a green team. Thank you so much. I was going off the top of my head on that. I appreciate you, William Ray. Cristobal, Oregon, legendary coach, now coaching Miami. Thank you very much. How is Craptobal not getting fired? He's a really good recruiter, and it's still early in his career. He ain't getting fired because he's a great recruiter and a billionaire booster still likes him. Thank you, Chris E. Chris E. usually says the right thing, and then I don't see it, and then I say it, and then I read it in chat. It's like, yeah, that guy's always on point. So shout out to him. Love your content. Sanderlin Productions, thank you so much. Follow you on TikTok. Thank you for being here, man. I love your support. I know you said Tennessee shouldn't be in the top 25, but I like their front seven and their running backs too. Yeah, I do too. I like both their position groups there. I still don't think they're the top 25 teams. But I feel you. Not after what I saw Florida do to them. Florida's not good. But I hear you. What up, Rico? Thanks. Yep. Sorry, chat just jumped on me. I'll catch back up to you guys. Give me a second here. Is Georgia number one for you now? No, not at all. You can't be number one beating Eastern Kentucky, bro, or Western Kentucky, whoever they are. Arizona State student section were chanting overrated, so Shador had to flex after winning the field goal. Why not just point to the scoreboard? Why not just walk off the field? I don't know. I don't have issues with it. He dishes it and also knows how to take backlash. I don't know. I think he'd go to the press conference and complain if they lost. I think he'd say, well, I couldn't do that if, for whatever reason. Rico, much love, bro. Keep your head up. Let's bounce back this week. Thank you, Tactical Orange. Let's go. Good point, Rico. Not trying to make fun of him, but why is Anthony Richardson so brittle for such a large frame? Dude has been ruled out of every game so far this season. Then Minshew comes in and lights it up. Minshew's a better quarterback. Minshew is the better quarterback, and he's been better than him every day at practice. That's why Richardson said he was so confused and surprised when he was named the starter. In the Army, I used to have these soldiers in my unit. I was a first sergeant. I'm in charge of hundreds of soldiers, and I could tell the ones who played sports in their life and the ones who didn't. And the ones who didn't play sports, if they twisted their ankle, like let's say you had that freak moment where you're like on the basketball court and you just twist your ankle real quick and then you're like, whoa, shit, twist my ankle. You kind of just shake it out and then you keep going, right? Natural athletes, people who've been playing sports their whole lives, they twist their ankle like that, they shake it off and they keep going back and they're good. Their body's limber. People who never played sports, they were just in the band, they were just chilling, playing video games all day, those people, they twist their ankle, it's catastrophic. Their body's done. Doesn't know how to recover from that. They literally don't have limber ligaments and limbs and anything. They're done. Some people are just more prone to being injured than others, right? Chris Chandler. I used to call him Chandelier. Chris Chandler. Look him up, bro. Dude was broken from the word go. Mark Bradford, right? Anthony Richardson is a brittle soul. He's a brittle soul. There's nothing we can do for him. It's innate. He was born this way, bro. He ain't it. He ain't tough. How many games did McNabb play before he got hurt? McNabb is the guy. McNabb is tough. Richardson ain't. He's RG3 without the accolades. He's RG3 without the accomplishments. He's RG3 without being good. RG3 was just as fast, just as amazing. Oh, by the way, RG3 won a Heisman, completed passes. Yeah, he was still a top draft pick, but he was all that other shit. For real, he did it on the field. Richardson's never done it on the field. Dom, get out of here with all that weakish. I don't know who Dom is. I'm not going to like Rico. I didn't like you at first. Oh, I think he meant to say I'm not going to lie. But you grew on me. Now you're my favorite college football guru. There's no way you didn't like me at first. There's no way. When I don't like somebody at first, I just keep going. I never watch a single thing they say or do. You liked me from the jump, bro. You didn't realize it. That's the reality. I see people, I don't ever stop and go, man, you don't know shit. I don't do that. I'm scrolling. I see a dude talking sports. I just keep it moving. Do you think Cormani McClain transfers from Colorado after this season? If so, where does he go? The answer is no. People laughing about Miami, but Alabama did the same thing. They just didn't fumble. Shout out to Ricky Bobby. Yeah, not sure what they were thinking throwing on first down when A&M had no timeouts with 2 minutes left. Rico, those night slate games were crazy. They always are, Phoenix. Need some of those Toledo offensive linemen to hit the portal and go to Colorado. Stop getting linemen from the MAC. Colorado already has skill players committed, lots of them. They just need to dominate the portal at offensive line, defensive line. They got a couple guys on the bench right now that are pretty good. They just got to keep developing them. They need a full offseason with these guys. Rico, why are you so hard on UGA sometimes? Alex Cutterback. I'm just a realist, bro. I just call it like I see it. You guys ain't hard enough on them. Colorado's still trash. CU is 4-2 and are 2 wins away from a bowl game. They are winning despite being trash. Okay. Texas State losing makes me feel a little better about our chances against them in 2 weeks. You better be able to stop Mahdi. Jaden Rashada is already better than Slurpee Sanders. Okay, Ricky Bobby. Apparently you haven't watched Colorado the last few years. They look great compared to those teams. Brian, this is a fact. Well, who has UAB played football against? UAB played Georgia. Who have they played against? They played against Georgia. Colorado looks great but struggles to beat a 1-4 team. UConn is a good football team. El Hombre Negro. No, they're not. They're 1-5, bro. Caleb Williams looks terrible during pressure by Arizona. Put him at Colorado team with all that sack, and he will be worse than Shador. Man, you guys are crazy, bro. Thoughts on the Georgia versus Kentucky game? Rewind the show. I already talked about every single game. South Alabama can beat Bama. They can if they played them. They're on the same schedule. You got a chance to beat them. Yes, Chris Caleb's arms strong twice as strong. He's twice as fast and sees the field better. I'm sure he'd be worse than Slurp. Makes sense. My brother is a TCU fan. He said he's done watching them until next season. Well, tell him I said they were going to win 5 games this year. I called it. I said TCU's winning 5 games this year. Utah State played great football. Okay. El Hombre Negro just says the opposite of anything I say. We will see how well he does at NFL when offensive linemen are equal and don't have protection. Okay, Utah State decided to make you look bad after you got off live. Hey, Evan Kramer, this is a fact. Rico, how we feeling about Wisconsin pushing your top 25? Very close. Very close. They have a quality loss to Washington State, but very close. It is what it is. Excuse me, the chat just jumped right now. Give me a second. Bear with me when the chat jumps. It takes about 15 seconds to get back to it. How's your fantasy team doing today, Rico? Are you winning? Oh, Phoenix, I don't know. Let me check. I don't usually check during the day. I mean, there's not much I can do, right? You can't change anything, so I don't stare at it like everybody else. I just check it at the end of the day. It looks like I'm losing really bad. Dak Prescott still has to go. CeeDee Lamb, Moody. Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, and Moody got to go. But apparently this dude had this boy named Tyreek Hill I knew I was in trouble. It's not the end of the world, is it? What am I down by? Some points. Less than 30. We could do something if we pair up for a couple touchdowns tonight. We could do something. Who knows? Don't look good. Don't look good for me. USC looked nasty, but as long as they have Caleb, I ain't picking no one over them. Yesterday proved it. Fair enough, Day. How do you learn all your ball knowledge? I'm a fan that wants to know more about the teams and players. Magic 2K. I have a very, very refined process. So Monday, I study a conference every single day, and then I study in the off season every single day. And when I say every single day, I mean 7 days a week. And I do this for 12 to 16 hours a day. So let me explain. In the off season, I will pick a conference. Well, my conferences don't change, right? So it's Monday is Monday is ACC and the Conference USA and Independence. Okay, I do all those teams on Mondays. Tuesdays, Big Ten and the MAC. Wednesdays, Big 12 and the American Conference. Thursdays, Sun Belt, SEC. Fridays, Pac-12, Mountain West. Just keep doing this over and over and over. So every day, on those days, I will study that conference. So like, let's just say I pick quarterbacks. I will study the quarterback room, the entire depth chart of that conference on Monday. I'll do all the quarterbacks at those schools all day long. I'll find out what high school they went to, go watch their huddle film, what they've been through, what colleges they've played at, if they've transferred, what games they've started, how many games they've started. I'll go through all 5 guys at every single school all day long. It's a job for me. So I'm doing this 12, 16 hours. Do all the quarterbacks. And then the next day, I'll do all the quarterbacks. And the next day, I'll do all the from every conference. And then I'll do, at that night, let me show you this. That night, if I go to YouTube and I go to my channel, let me show you proof that this is happening. If you go to my channel and you go to my live tab, and if you go to my live tab and you scroll down and you keep scrolling, back in the day when I was doing my live streams, you'll see stuff like this. One day I'm talking about all the quarterbacks in the transfer portal. Okay, let me shrink myself here. So there it is. Davis Brin. Tulsa. I talked about quarterbacks for 2 hours. The very next day, I talk about running backs. Okay, let's go back down here. We'll go a little further. Right here. Linebackers. Defensive linemen, linebackers. DBs. You see how I'm rotating different position groups every single day. So it was who's the newest guys in the portal. Then all of a sudden you see offensive linemen. Offensive linemen, defensive linemen, linebackers, secondary. Oh, let's keep going. Once we did it, we go back and hit rinse and repeat. And I'm looking for, JUCO players. It's just different topics each day that I was talking about. And I would relabel it different ways. But that's how I attacked it, was by position groups. And this is way back. This is back in the summer. Every single time I have a different position group on my live streams. Okay? And now, here it is. You're going to see different conferences. So this is a Monday. We'll go down here. We'll see when did it start. We got a Monday ACC, Big 12 on Tuesdays. There's your Wednesdays, Big 10, Big 12, SEC, Pac-12. Results, or my fantasy team. Then you got ACC again, Big 10, Big 12, SEC, Pac-12. Same row in order. ACC, Big 10, Big 12, SEC, Pac-12. I've been doing this over and over and over. That is my approach to how I study these teams and learn more about them. I just rotate the conferences and never stop. And I just keep trying to learn everything about every team, different position groups, and I just keep studying. It's not, like, I know, look, man, I want to tell you guys this. I know there are people that watch me and want my picks because they want to go win and become rich. And then there's people who want to be content creators and go, man, I see how much money Rico makes. I want to be like him. I want to make money like that. And if you're a content creator and you want to make money, and then if you're a guy who wants to make money off picks, it's kind of the same thing. There is no easy way around this. You got to work at it really hard. Like, I've made thousands of videos before I got here. I go live stream for hundreds, maybe thousands of hours at this point, right? My picks, you got to know all the props and all the different players and all the decisions I make to make your money. It's not easy. I put in 16 hours a day to know these teams. So when I talk to you guys and you guys can write any name in the chat, I got to be ready to answer to that name on any particular team on any particular day. I sharpen myself and my skill set by going over the results every week and knowing the teams and looking at them. I'm like, okay, that team, that. And I just know the players. I study. So when I look at a box score, I know every player. I look at a recruiting class, I know every player, where they came from. I studied it. It's not easy. The hard part, or the gifted part, is I retain it all. That's the hardest part, is I memorize it all. That's what makes me special. That and the delivery. Right? But you can do it too if you put in the hours. Theoretically. Utah State can beat Colorado if they play. Oh, okay. Calm down, bro. Someone get this dude out. Oh, next time, can you remove people there? Yeah, Evan Kramer, can you just hide people from the channel? If it gets too that abusive, just let me know. Give me a second here. I'll hide user on this channel. He's gone forever. Should be good forever. There you go. USC hasn't played a ranked team. Let them play Oregon, and we will see. Put pressure on Caleb, and he folds. Tulane and Utah prove that. I don't think that's true, Chris. I think he played well against Utah until he got injured, and then he played Tulane, and he was injured. In the bowl game, he wasn't healed. He couldn't run. He had 0 rushing yards that game after rushing for like 100 yards against Utah, or in the weeks before, in the what was the game before that? So I don't think that's true. The Bills' defense had 6 starters on defense. The Bills go down today with injuries. Turf moment. Kids twist ankles, etc. too, and keep going all the time. Dom had to get booted. He asked to be blocked and said, "You suck at picks." Oh, Evan Kramer, it's okay. You don't have to tell me, man. You don't have to tell me. Thoughts on G.J. Kinney? G.J. Kinney, I talked about him all off season. I want to challenge you to do something there, Yard Sale Dale. Go to TikTok and search hashtag Texas State, hashtag Rico Knows, and find all the videos on Texas State. And you will find videos of me talking about G.J. Kinney. I think so highly of G.J. Kinney. I think he's amazing. I think he's like one of the young coaches that can actually do shit. Like, he can just figure things out. High scoring. Amazing stuff. His teams are always going to score a ton of points. They're always going to be great. Love it. Feck, Rice, and JT Daniels only miss of a second 7-leg parlay plus 740. Damn. You had the money line. Bobby Albright, I'm pissed for you, bro. Just sharing info. I know you guys, you got your guys. Mississippi State may be without Rodgers the rest of the season. Collarbone. Trying to get medical eval this week during bye. M. Wright, the guy backed up by walk-ons. It's going to be rough. It's because they lost Locke, right? They lost Locke. Was it Braden Locke they lost in the transfer portal? Rico, who was that guy you helped get a scholarship? Phoenix, I do not want to say his name until he commits on the dotted line because I don't want to put pressure on. I don't want to go out there and report things and the kid changes his mind. So he definitely has an offer, and he went on a visit. It's incredible. It's fun. And I'm excited for him, and we talk probably when we need. I wouldn't say we talk weekly, but we talk as often as we need to. Rico, just letting you know the Nebraska curse is officially over. Everything went the Huskers' way Friday night. The curse was passed on to Miami Hurricanes last night. Oh, my goodness. If that was a curse, it was Kirk Cousins he got the scholarship for. Oh, my goodness. Rico and Ash had a conservatorship with Kirk Cousins. Okay. Do you think Alabama will win out Inc. SEC championship? Including the SEC championship? No. No, I don't think so. If Alabama wins out, that's how terrible the SEC is. What's your opinion on the Giants? None. I don't watch them. We too know. I apologize for my naivety in advance, but can players from Air Force transfer, or do they have to do all 4 years there? They have some docs. Jordan Smith. When you're in a service academy, after your sophomore year, you have to decide whether or not you want to serve in the military. So you go to the academy. Usually you do 1 year at the prep school. That's fine. And then you start school. You can't redshirt once you start school. You just have to go through all 4 years because Congress wants them to pump out officers. So you got to go pump out your officers and go do your time. But after 2 years at the academy, whatever service school you're at, that's when you get sworn in, and that's when you commit to completing and doing your time. That's why you see transfers leaving. You can leave the academy. You cannot transfer in, but they can easily transfer out. That's acceptable. Now, if they don't transfer out, they're going to be there. Some guys can ask for a waiver to do a graduate transfer as long as they're pursuing a master's degree, but they still got to do their service afterwards. And that's what happened with the Air Force's quarterback this past season, last season. So, yeah, that's how that works. They can definitely transfer. Paul Skeens did like he's the number one pick in baseball. Yeah, Jordan Smith, no, they can't transfer and can't accept transfers. They're under enlistment when they commit to the academy. Close, Chris E. They can transfer after the first 2 years. Got to check out Josh Myris. He's a local guy. I know just had a 4-touchdown game. Okay. Tons of guys to look at, Magic 2K. Hey, thank you guys for being here tonight. Appreciate everybody. You guys keep rocking. Remember, your friends don't know, but Rico knows. I'm going to see you guys tomorrow for the ACC, and I'm going to push out the MVP list. We got football Tuesday night, y'all. We got like 3 games Tuesday night, so it's got a quick turnaround. We got no downtime. I need a rest. Peace, y'all.
Do this for my father, who I've only seen from time to time in my dreams. I do this for you. I do this for my mother, who's finally clean, no longer a fan. I do this for you. I do this for my sister, my wife and my kids, cause they part of the team. I do this for all the naysayers and haters who made me one of the greatest. I know it kills you inside, that's why I do this for you. I do this for my father, who I've only seen from time to time in my dreams. I do this for you. I do this for my mother, who's finally clean, no longer a fan. I do this for you. I do this for my sister, my wife and my kids, cause they part of the team. I do this for all the naysayers and haters who made me one of the greatest. I know it kills you inside, that's why I do this for you.
I do this for the kids who sit a bit outside the mix, who maybe cope through humor just to fit in for a bit, who never let the world know when depression's setting